Good evening. Terry, I want to thank the Chamber for that warm and kind introduction. And I want to thank all of you for taking time to attend this evening to learn more about your city, the City of Mesquite. The State of the City address is something I look forward to each year. I view it as my opportunity to share many of the good things we accomplished during the past year and preview all of the great achievements we can look forward to this year. But before I start bragging about our great city, I have to pause and take a moment for a very serious public announcement. Alice and I are giving our oldest grandson, John Michael, his first car this year. Surprise, John Michael, and surprise, Mesquite. For those of you who may have seen John Michael riding his bike, popping wheelies, and plowing into our mailbox, I would like to assure you that we are doing everything we can to make sure he is more responsible behind the wheel before we hand him the keys. That being said, we have cautioned him if he gets just one ticket, he's going to become familiar with our transit system here in Mesquite. With all the improvements we've made with transit this year, it could be a good way for John Michael to meet some new friends. Talking about meeting and making new friends, well, tonight I will introduce a few of the great people I met this past year in Mesquite. In 2014, John Michael, my entire family, along with the rest of Mesquite, proudly welcomed back some old friends and some new neighbors. And tonight I'm talking about our military veterans. This past year, I was blessed to welcome several of them to our community. Among them were Marine Sergeant Jesse Roden, who served 8 years overseas defending our country. In August, his mother-in-law, Kathleen Hagler, an active member of our chamber, personally invited me to her home to join her, Jesse's wife Rebecca, and her daughter Abby to be there for Jesse's return. In July, I met Marine Sergeant Kenneth Rowland, who received numerous awards for his service overseas, including the Purple Heart and 2 combat action ribbons. There I joined Bank of America and the Military Warrior Support Foundation to present Kenneth and his family the keys to their new 100% mortgage-free home. And speaking of keys, I was humbled to present Army Sergeant Joe Reyna, a Bronze Star War hero, a key to the city at our annual festival in April. After serving a 15-month tour in Iraq, Joe chose Mesquite to begin the next chapter of his life, and we're glad he did. I'm proud to have these men here tonight, Jesse, Kenneth, and Joe. Would you all please stand so we can thank you all for your service to our country. General George Patton once said, "The soldier is the army. No army is better than its soldiers. The soldier is also a citizen. In fact, the highest obligation and privilege of citizenship is that of bearing arms for one's country." That being said, it is a veteran like Jesse, Kenneth, and Joe who inspire us to create a community worthy of their sacrifices and who embody the core principles of hard work, love of family, and dedication to service. These are the same principles the citizens of Mesquite hold dear and that I will talk about this evening. But before I go any further, I want to also recognize the previous mayors who are here tonight. The city of Mesquite would not be where it is today but for their contributions over the past years. Tonight, we have with us the Honorable George Venner, the Honorable B.J. Smith, and the Honorable Mike Anderson. Please give them. Continuing, General Colin Powell said, if you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception, it is a prevailing attitude. This quote really describes the effort that went into all the progress Mesquite made this past year through hard work. You see, a few people in Washington and Austin tried to tell us certain things could not be done, but we did them anyway. Like our military role models here tonight, we became more resourceful and we prevailed. 3 accomplishments this year that exemplified that hard work. 1, expanding our transit system. 2, convincing the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, to reinstate funding for our air traffic controllers. And 3, investing in our infrastructure. In the area of transit, we continued with the Compass shuttle service we started back in 2012. For almost 3 years, it has connected Mesquite residents to the DART network. This has made Mesquite, which is not a DART member, the first non-member city to have direct access to DART's connections throughout the region. While this was a great accomplishment, we soon realized that it was not enough. Why? Because the Compass to DART access was available only during morning and afternoon rush hours. So we worked hard with DART to expand our service throughout the day. And just last month, we launched our midday service. Now, shift workers can get to their jobs, college students can enroll in afternoon classes, and stay-at-home parents can enjoy visits to the zoo and museums with their children. As we were expanding our Compass offerings with DART, we did not forget about those people with special transportation needs. Our former MTED program allowed our elderly and disabled residents to schedule transportation when they needed it. But over the years, we outgrew it. For one thing, it was limited to only those with special needs. So in October, this past October, we partnered with Star Transit, led by Omega Hawkins, to open our door-to-door service to all residents. And I'm proud to say that thousands have jumped aboard. In fact, we have seen a 43% increase in ridership in the expanded Star Transit service. And although the midday Compass service to DART is just a month old, I am told it has already significantly increased our overall transit ridership. Additionally, I'm happy to share with you that through grants and creative partnerships, we are actually spending less of our local tax dollars and are providing 250% more in public transportation. And we're not done. The Regional Transportation Council just approved funding for a second Compass route. This will bring the total public transportation funding this year to $1.5 million with a Mesquite commitment of just 25 cents per dollar for more than 100,000 trips annually. How about that for a great deal? In short, we took a risk and did what no city had done before. And as a result, the media has called our transit efforts a groundbreaker. And now we provide more transit for less money. Another example of the city's hard work is our airport expansion. Last year, I reported the great news that our Mesquite Metro Airport, led by Cynthia Godfrey, was getting a $2.8 million FAA control tower constructed primarily with federal grants. Well, after less than 1 year of service, our traffic has increased 20%, making ours one of the busiest airports in Texas. And soon, we'll be adding an enhanced radar system as part of that project. As a result of this growth, our airport tenants have stepped up and begun to upgrade their operations. But all of this success almost didn't take off. You see, the FAA told us just before we were ready to open our control tower that they were going to withdraw the funds to pay our new federal air traffic controllers, leaving the city of Mesquite to come up with the money for their salaries and benefits. Well, your city council and your mayor could not let that happen. So on behalf of the city and the city council, I went to Washington to get the funds we were promised. There I had numerous meetings with our members of Congress and Senate, all of whom agreed to support us. And it was with that united front that we were able to convince the feds to reverse their decision. They reinstated well over $750,000 per year to pay our air traffic controllers. While it is easy to see Mesquite's commitment to excellence and hard work in big projects like the airport and transit, it can be easy to overlook the daily habit of excellence that permeates our city. That being said, we continue to make significant investments into our infrastructure. You see, it's more about the neighborhoods we live in. It's about how our street and utilities connect to 660 miles of roads, the 595 miles of water pipes, and the 476 miles of sewer lines we maintain for everyone every day. During my time as your mayor, we have already invested $90 million for infrastructure improvements. In this coming year, we have budgeted another $50 million. This investment in transportation and utilities, as well as the new railroad quiet zone in downtown that we'll realize in about 2 or 3 months, will help make daily life here much easier by improving the flow of traffic on your streets and the flow of water in your pipes.